Hi there. I'm going to talk about the question that is frequently asked by those who have been following events in the DRC for the recent in the recent past. That is, who killed Laurent Desire Kabila, whom I'm going to refer from now on as Mzee Kabila. Mzee being a term of endearment and simply means old man or father in Swahili. On the 16th of January 2001, one of Mzee Kabila's bodyguards, Rashidi Kaserera, used a private entrance into Kabila's office. He walked up to Mzee Kabila, leaned into his ear as if to whisper something, then pulled out an automatic pistol and fired 3 rounds at point blank range into Mzee Kabila. Mzee Kabila died almost immediately. Then there was shouting in the courtyard with Mzee Kabila's bodyguards exchanging fire with a small group of armed men. And at this point, Rashid ran out of the room and Colonel Edikapend then shot one of the bodyguards and claimed he had killed Rashidi Kasereka. While all this was taking place, Kabila, who had now been dead for several hours, was his body was taken by ambulance to Njili Airport and was flown to Harare on Congolese DC-8, and the reason given, or the official explanation given, was that Kabila was to be given medical attention. Then on the same evening at 6 o'clock, Colonel Edikapend went on air and ordered all FARC units to be disciplined and maintain their calm, and announced that the DRC's borders were now closed. Then at 8 o'clock, the Interior Minister Gaeta Kakuji announced that Kinshasa was now under a curfew effective immediately, but for some reason did not acknowledge that Mzee Kabila was dead. News of Mzee Kabila's death was finally announced by Louis Michel, the Belgian foreign minister, who had his own sources of information in Kinshasa. Then on the 17th of January, Kikaya bin Karubi, the DRC's ambassador to Zimbabwe, denied, again contradicted Mzee Kabila and denied that he had been killed, insisting that he was well and he was just recuperating from his wounds. The first government official to acknowledge that Mzee Kabila was dead was Dominic Sakombi Ilongo, and he did so on the 18th of January at 8 o'clock, and then Sakombi declared 30 days of mourning, and President Kabila was given a state funeral, and his body was flown back to Kinshasa from Harare on the 21st. Attending the funeral, the state funeral, were Presidents Mugabe of Zimbabwe, Sam Nujoma of Namibia, Eduardo dos Santos of Angola. Of course, these were the countries that had supported Kabila in the conflict that started in the Second Cold War, that started in sometime in August of 98. So the question that has to be asked is what made the Kadogos turn against Kabila? Then we'll start with a brief background on the Kadogos. Mzee Kabila had recruited the Kadogos in the eastern part of the DRC from October 1996 when he launched the AFDL, and then they marched on to Kinshasa in 1997, and there were 15,000 of them. Some of the parents had succumbed to disease, while some of the parents had been victims of war. The Kadogos referred, it was the Kadogos who gave Kabila the sobriquet Mzee, and because the Kadogos had been with Mzee from the AFDL formation, they had unflinching loyalty to Mzee, and Mzee himself had total trust of the Kadogos. After the march on May 1997, after the march on Kinshasa, of course, I'm now talking about the grievances of the Kadogos. Many of the Kadogos wanted to return to normal life and go back to school. They could not do so as they were forbidden, and those who decided to desert were executed, and the Kadogos were unpaid for months, and those who fell sick did not receive medical attention. So and to make matters worse, those who were sent to the Eastern Front to fight were short on rations, and they went unpaid for months, and some of them were starving, were literally starving. And the Kadogos were ordered to shoot their own wounded comrades because it was considered cheap. It was considered expensive to fly them to Kalemi or Kinshasa. So the question that is normally asked on these issues is that whether the Kadogos really carried out the assassination of like Mzee Kabila. For a start, the Kadogos had poor military training, and they could not have carried such a sophisticated operation, and they simply did not have the skills, and which in normal sort of like military terms, you need someone with say commando training or special forces background, and these were just like people who had 2 weeks training at most, and most of them, the rifle was just too big for them, they really did struggle, and it begs the question whether the Kadogos genuinely carried out killed Mzee Kabila. Of course, that doesn't actually rule out the fact that they had genuine grievances, and they of course then a report in Le Monde, the French newspaper, the Le Monde, the edition of the 10th February 2001, it alleges that Kasereka only played a minor role in the assassination, and that according to Le Monde, a sub-lieutenant who took part in the assassination, only identified as AL, simply gave the account that Kasereka was killed by one of Kabila's bodyguards, while the real killer escaped. AL, it is said, was in charge of 35 men who were posted outside the presidential palace, and 2 men got inside the building, while 4 others hid in the palace to provide cover. And Rashidi was just one of 4 men giving covering fire to our partner. So the explanation goes, and it is explained that Rashidi never got out. So the Kadogos had grievances, but does that actually did they actually carry out the assassination? And the ex-FAS, the former force Ameza, was President Mobutu's army, were sent by Kabila to military cantonments such as the Kitona Air Force Base, and most of them starved to death. And some of them, they lost their privileges at the fall of the Mobutu regime. So they equally had grievances, and that doesn't rule out that one of them uh, carried out the assassination, considering that they had the ex Division Special Presidential, which is the guards to the president, and they received special forces training, so they could equally have carried out the assassination. Thank you so much for watching this presentation, and if you do like the information conveyed in this presentation, please subscribe and give me some likes. Thank you. Bye.